He's got some talent there. Looking through that side, Charlie Gubb, I thought looked like he was making an impact, and then got the injury right at the end, and that looked bad, didn't it? It looked like he might be done.
Yeah, no, that'd be an absolute gutter because he was a bright kind of spark in that Widnes side.
Let's just quickly do the sort of run through the Widnes side to see who'll get picked up, because someone mentioned there's probably not a lot of players some players that are stealing a wage and some players that probably won't get much attention elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, Ollie Ashelbot, I think he'd be best sticking where he is, even if he were in the Championship. But someone would want to take a punt on him, I would guess. Pat Arvan, what do you reckon?
I think he's done. Possibly someone coming up might take him for the experience, but
yeah,
I can't see it.
I think he's got a year or two left at Super League if he can stay fit.
If he can stay fit, yeah. Time at Catalans didn't really set the world alight, and he's not particularly to me. I mean, I've not seen a lot of Widnes games, but I've not heard his name mentioned a lot in terms of the highlights.
He was great in the first month of the season. I think he scored 5 tries in 4 games or something ridiculous like that. 5 tries in 5 games, but he was good at the start of the season. But then got injured, and he's inconsistent. Matt Whitley we'll both have in our squads, wouldn't we? I'd take him in the Wigan squad. Charlie Runciman hasn't delivered.
No.
So I think maybe Intrust Super Cup bound. Joe Mellor, what do you think? Would he get a Super League gig?
No, I don't think he will. I think there's enough halfbacks around. I think top end of the Championship is probably his level.
I don't think there are enough halfbacks around. The thing with Joe Mellor is he obviously needs someone next to him to support him, and he can't be the man. I think he's kind of shown that over the last season and a half. Liam Finn, obviously we know what's happening with him, so I won't talk about him. Chris Houston's retiring, Aaron Herrera-Meyer's retiring. Gil Dudson, I have a soft spot for Gil because he played in the double winning season for Wigan. I don't think Widnes fans have a soft spot for him.
No. Again, I could see him doing a job at the lower end of Super League, but whether anyone's, I mean, how old is he now? He's been around a while, hasn't he? So
he probably was in that same Crusaders side that we were just talking about before. Christine and Harrison Hansen, I think, are players who could do a job for bottom end of Super League sides for a year or two. So.
Yeah, Harrison Hansen. I was kind of surprised he left Wigan. I think I don't know what your thoughts. I think he went to Salford for the money, which you can't necessarily blame him. Then he went to kind of Leigh for the money, and now he's just kind of trying to get a gig. But
I'm not sure
he did look like
for the money or not. I don't think he would have been on a huge deal there. But he might have been on as good a deal as he could get at that time. But I think he left Wigan for Salford. It was kind of comfortable for everyone. Wigan had kind of thought we've probably had our fullest of uses of him, and Salford would definitely offer him more money than Wigan's next contract would have been for him. But he still did a job last year in the Super League for Leigh. I think he's still a good enough player to play Super League personally, but maybe that's my soft spots coming out. I'm too soft for these former Wigan players. Well, the Haraki can get fucked. I've not rated him for years.
Yeah,
but again, he's in Super League next year apparently. So what's that about?
He's nothing. He's been around the houses, hasn't he? He can. I think he shows up for half a dozen games a year. Looks good, and that's what I mean. Did he start at Crusaders?
In this country, he did. He had 1 year there last year. I think he was there. Then he went to Leeds, then Cass, then Salford, now Widnes, and then next year somewhere else. Tom Olberson, on this year's form, will get picked up by someone in the Super League. I think that's almost a certainty. McGrath Lulawai, I wouldn't have even picked him. With looking at the 19-man squad, they had Jay Chappellow in that. I'd have had Jay Chappellow in this lineup over McGrath Luluai, so I'm not sure he'd get another Super League club outside of the Vikings. Danny Walker probably would.
Yeah, again, steady rather than spectacular. But again, you kind of you need those players in your squad, don't you? So.
Is a young kid. He's got potential to do some stuff. He's got a lot of pace. Danny Craven was in the 19-man squad. I don't see anyone falling over themselves to take him as well. So okay. Let's talk about London. Let's talk about Kieran Dixon's redemption, getting his tries in this game. Let's talk about how good their forwards were in the game. Eddie Batty, Elwa Pelissier, Daniel Hindmarsh, I thought was exceptional. Spencer to some extent, but Iwani, however you pronounce that, Ioni and Harrison off the bench, I thought were every bit like top class players. I almost feel like there's more players in this Broncos side who I'd put into a Super League side. Maybe that's clouded a little bit by how they play, but yeah, who stood out for you?
Yeah, I mean, you look at this Broncos side, and it's kind of. There's quite a smattering of Super League experience in there, isn't there? Players that have been around a bit. I mean, Jay Pitts was at Hull for quite a while. James Cunningham was at Hull. It's kind of tipped for big things, but wasn't really going to get past Danny Houghton, so kind of made space and stuff. So it's kind of fair play. They've really carved it, and I think there was a talk of London going downhill this year. I'm excited to see where they go. I think someone said the £1 million game. I think that's probably the extent of their kind of ambition on this to see where they go. But
if they can pick up wins against Halifax and Toulouse, I know they're away at Toronto, so that might be a challenge. But if they can pick up wins against, that's 6 points, and that could be enough to finish in 5th place and be the away side in that £1 million game. I really like the fullback Alex Walker. To me, he reminds me a bit of Steph Ratchford. He's not blindingly fast, but he's fast enough. He's very clever. He pops up in the right places, and he's got really good hands. I think his involvement in the first try that Kieran Dixon got was very good. That was a really, really nicely worked try. After they'd just scored that try where they put Daniel Harrison through that big gap, Widnes's defence were definitely going to be overreading the line runners, and London played that perfectly. And Alex Walker's part in it was brilliant as well. That really impressed me from the London side, especially because they had to overcome sort of falling behind. That really impressed me. You know, at half time it was nip and tuck, and they were probably slightly Widnes probably slightly deserved that lead. They kind of controlled things a little bit better in that first half, but London tried a lot more, and London deserved to get back into the game with the way they wanted to play the rugby. So very happy for London to get this win, because I think it was a very enjoyable game for them. Do you have anything else before we move on? Did you anything else you wanted to pick out?
No, I just think, kind of echoing what you're saying now, I think I was pleased to see kind of London kind of dig this game out. I think in previous years they've just kind of folded in on themselves and let teams get away with results. But yeah, arguably, I think Sky would be better off screening all the middle 8 games rather than some of the Super 8s for the excitement factor.
Well, that's one of the strengths and weaknesses in the same sense about this competition structure, isn't it? There's a lot of focus on these relegation games, what they really are, but rather than the top. But there is a lot of excitement there. Hull KR 10, Salford 28. I think this one came as a little bit of a surprise. It was close 6-4 to Salford at half time. They pulled away in the second half. A healthy 7,081 were on to watch Robert Hicks blow the whistle in this one. We've had a couple of fan reviews in too.
Yeah, the interestingly titled at James MC 13933194. I don't know if that's his account number or phone number. Very disappointing after recent form, but we will go again next week. Up the Robins.
And thanks for getting in touch, James. Make sure you keep your fan reviews coming in. It's great to have new people on board. Tom Andrews said, well, that was poor. Our halves looked clueless. Only bright sparks were Atkin and Greenwood. Atkin's better than Carney. I think he means Todd Carney. Salford wanted it more, so fair play to them. Their dummy halves dominated the game. But I do wonder if the amount of time Salford players spend with their arms in the air has a direct correlation to the amount of time Salford birds spend with their legs in the air. I assume he means they were claiming for a lot of penalties. I haven't seen enough of this game to really comment on it in any sort of detail really at all. But from what I have heard and read, Jackson Hastings had a really influential role, which isn't surprising. From his first appearance, and he managed to play more of the game this time as well, although he did go off with an injury again, so that's going to be really worrying for Salford. But they've kicked off with a surprise on the road victory for me. What did you think?
Yeah,
did you expect this, and did you see anything of the game, the highlights or anything? Is there anything you wanted to pull out?
I've seen the tries, a couple of soft ones. The convicted spousal abuser doing a kind of a slow motion 90 metre, which having watched that again, I don't know how he managed to get to the line without a Rovers blade catching him, because I did think they had some pace in that side, but I was maybe a little bit mistaken with that. This one came out of the blue for me. I did have Hull KR down as quite comfortable winners. I think they would have targeted this one to get onto a good start, and then kind of with them going away to Toronto to kind of get back up there. Yeah, I mean, I think they've got two away games on the trot now, to Toronto and Toulouse. I think that's kind of potentially they could be struggling if they don't get pick up a couple of wins and stuff. I mean, Salford again. Are they saving the best till last? I mean, you kind of the side they had out was a pretty decent one, and yeah, from what I've read, that Hastings is looking like a good signing. Whether they get to hold on to him will be quite interesting.
Definitely, I think his goal kicking seemed pretty important in the final reckoning of this game. Even though they won by 18 points, Salford, they did kick a lot more goals in the game than Hull KR. There was no stats package on the RFL website for this, so I can't go into more detail on any of the numbers other than the basics that Jackson Hastings kicked 4 from 4 in the game. So well done to him. It does look like Salford kind of had the better of things throughout. So it seems that they did have the better players in the game. It is a little bit disappointing for me that Hull KR have pushed Chris Atkin out of the side because he did promise so much at early doors, and now he's back to coming off the bench as probably interchange hooker or a little bit of inspiration where needed. It's a bit disappointing for me that he hasn't been able to nail down that starting play side that he probably deserves. But well done to Salford to get things off to a good start for them. Okay, lead 48, Toulouse 22. It was 20 points to 16 at half time, and Toulouse probably had a chance to go ahead early into that second half as well. So that 48-22 final score doesn't tell the whole story. 10,166 watched Gareth Hewer referee this one. Do you want to take us through the first of a couple of fan views we had in?
Yeah, so first one from Carsten. This scoreline favoured Leeds, but in the end they were the better team. I've never seen more offloads in one half than in the first half of this match. The defence of both teams is rubbish, and I can't see Toulouse making it to Super League. Leeds will have to improve, but at least the coaching staff found some common sense and brought Jimmy Kay back in the lineup.
The kind horse. Shoddy and Mungo said, despite the touches of class from Toulouse and Ford especially, they looked too brittle in defence to make a sustained challenge to be in the top 5 of the qualifiers. Leeds did enough when they needed it to be clear winners in the end. Totally. The big thing to come out of this game, the shittiest thing to come out of this game, was Ryan Hall's ACL injury that rules him out for the rest of the season. Probably puts the start of his campaign down under next year in a little bit of doubt as he'll be recovering from that injury. And it's an awful way to go out for an absolute legend at Leeds Rhinos, an absolute legend in Super League, one of the finest wingers we've produced and seen over the last decade in the competition. So that's really disappointing, and to me, overshadows all of the stuff from the game. I feel gutted that he's out for the season and he doesn't get to at least end on what would be a relative positive, which would be charging Leeds back into Super League safety.